Hola, mis amores. How is your spirit today? Let's do our vibe check. Take a moment, take a deep breath in and exhale. Feel into your heart. What's coming up for you? What's present? Take a moment, acknowledge it. And if you're feeling generous, drop it in the comments below and let me know what you're feeling as you're starting this amazing conversation with me. I am excited that you're here. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Janari Pouncil and I am the go to mentor and spiritual teacher to intuitive leaders that are embodying the most authentic version of themselves, that are trusting their inner intuition, that are overflowing with inner peace and enjoying their lives every single step of the way. And today we're going to be talking about life after awareness. What is it like when we are aware? What happens after that? So, if you are here for that, you are in the right place, mis amores. Listen, this is video number 16. Can you believe this? This is video number 16 of my 45-day ongoing series called The Path to Inner Peace, which I've been hosting here on my YouTube channel. Thank you for being a part of it. It's been really fun to co create. The theme for this week, this is actually week 6, and we're going to do a total of 8 weeks. So we have this week and then 2 more weeks, and that's a wrap for this series, y'all. The theme for this week is life after awareness, where we're going to be diving into what is it like when we are being self-aware? What is it like when we learn these things about ourselves? What is it like for us to show up more powerfully once we have expanded our consciousness? So that's what we're going to focus on this week. So I hope that you are excited because we're going to have a whole vibe. Who is going to get the most out of this video? The people that are going to get the most out of this video are intuitive leaders. I focus on the intuitives because I'm an intuitive. I'm someone that's grounded on trusting my inner voice. I'm someone that's grounded on trusting my intuition. I know what that journey is like. I know how fun it is, how joyful it is, and also how uncomfortable it is. And that's why I focus on us because I know what it's like to walk this path. And I want to encourage as many more intuitives to step into the path of inner peace, to step into the path of authenticity, and to allow themselves to experience it with joy and with calm and with everything that they truly desire. And that's what's going to get the most out of this video today. The reason I wanted to talk about this video because I like to share with y'all what prompts me to talk about this. Is helping me be transparent about my story. And I also feel like it sets the tone for us to get the vibes, to see why this matters, to see why this is important. Before I was self aware, there was so much about me that I rejected. There was so much about me that I didn't enjoy, that I didn't like. There was so much about me that I hadn't accepted, especially because of all of the conditioning I have received around what it meant to be beautiful, the conditioning I have received around what it meant to be smart, what it meant to be successful. So I had a lot of image challenges with myself. And this is why I want to talk about this, especially for those of us that are leaders, because one of the things that started to happen when I became self-aware is that a part of me began to see self-awareness as the destination. As, oh, well, now I know about it. So, okay, now I know about it. This is why this is happening. Now I know about why it's happening. And this is also the experience that I see. It's not just unique to me, it's unique to pretty much every leader I've ever worked with. And what I've noticed is that when we do that, when we think that the self awareness is the destination, we keep ourselves from learning and growing. And we end up getting really frustrated with ourselves because we are learning about ourselves and we're becoming aware about ourselves. And at the same time, we are not changing what we are learning. We're not growing beyond that. We know the information. It feels frustrating. And it feels frustrating because we are not, a part of us isn't able to change it as soon as we are aware of it. And as I'm talking to you about this right now, I'm seeing how much of that I was engaging in. It's actually very eye opening. And when I was engaging in that behavior, because this is how I know about it, because I was doing it. When I was engaging in that behavior, I was finding myself playing small because I didn't want to be uncomfortable. I was finding myself keeping myself stuck because to take action meant to move beyond that awareness. And I had just learned to be aware. I hadn't really learned to go beyond being aware. And That usually manifested as me engaging in people pleasing instead of focusing on making sure that I'm in alignment with who your Nori is here to be. And that manifested as resentment towards other people. You see how this snowballs? Like it starts with us keeping ourselves small because we are not seeing that awareness is not the destination. And then it manifests as us treating people in a way that is not in alignment with how we want to show up because we resent them because we're truly resenting ourselves. And this is what I want to talk about this today because I know what it's like when we are on the other side of this. Once we are aware that self-awareness isn't the destination, that's a part of our journey, honestly, is the beginning of the journey, we can begin to show up differently and we can have a different experience on how we approach our inner peace and how we show up as the most authentic version of ourselves. So, here's what you're going to learn today. I'm going to share with you the number one reason why letting the universe take control is a non-negotiable for me. Because after I become more self-aware, the number one thing I've learned is that we got to let universe take control. We got to let God take control. We got to let source take control. So I'm going to talk to you about why that is. Not just for me, but anyone that is an intuitive path. Because the path of the intuitive is different than the path of other people. So we want to be aware as to what are the non-negotiables. Then I'm going to share with you what letting universe take control looks like for me on the path to inner peace, because I haven't always been on this energy. So the way I would show up was different. And I want to reveal to you what it can look like. What are the possibilities that you can open yourself up to? And then I'm going to share with you the 3 ways that letting universe take control has made my life 1,000 times better. I like to keep it at least 1,000 times better because it has been so beautiful to watch God, source, work in my life and to support me in shifting the things that I desire with joy. And I want to share with you how that has made my life better because that's what this is all about. It's about us enjoying life, enjoying the journey as much as the destination. And then I'm going to give you a bonus for staying with me to the end. And I'm going to share with you the best way to let universe take control in your life, the best way to let God lead you and do it with joy and with calm and inner peace. Now, before I jump into all these gems, I want to talk to those of you that are ready. I know that there are some of you watching that desire to take this next step, that you can feel in your heart that I am the mentor to lead you and to walk with you in this next season of your life. And this is a really great time because I'm enrolling clients for 2024. I am currently allowing people to book time on my calendar to talk to me. And the way that this works and who gets the most out of it, because I want to be really clear about that. If you feel called to work with me, if you feel like I am the mentor for you, because it's an energetics thing. Like it's a thing that you got to feel it in your energy that you and I are in alignment. That's the people that get the best results working with me. If that's you, I want to invite you to book an authenticity audit. Authenticity audits are 45-minute conversations that I allow in my calendar for people that desire to work with me, that know I'm their mentor, and they want to explore what it looks like for us to be in alignment in the new year, especially. So, who is the best person to book this call? Because it ain't for everybody. This is for those of you that are ready to trust your intuition at a deeper level. This is for those of you that are ready to face your triggers with calm no matter what. This is about people that are ready to go there because we're going to go there. This is for those of you that are ready to nourish your body and do it with compassion and self-discipline. This is for those of you that want to release borrowed beliefs that are no longer serving you, that are no longer aligned with who you're being in the world. And this is for those of you that are committed to building relationships that are rooted in love, in compassion, in acceptance, healthy relationships with the people in your life, and even with complete strangers. So if that's you, I want to invite you to book an authenticity audit with me, and let's talk about what is it going to take for you to show up in the most authentic and joyful way in 2024. You can click in the link in the description box below to book one of these authenticity audits. I have 5 for this week. I'm going to be taking some time to rest starting December 15th. So if you feel called to have one of these conversations, make sure that you book it as soon as possible because your girl's going to be taking some time off and we want to get you all ready for 2024. So, I know I got a story for you today. Yeah, let's talk about this one. So after I started to, during this series, I've talked about my journey to through inner peace. I talked about the depression and that being vastly triggered by my uncle's murder. I talk about what it was like to go to therapy and the challenges I experienced with that in my marriage. I've gone through quite a bit of this journey with you to show you the path, to show you what it has to look like to get here. And I want to share with you another stop on this journey today. And this came after, I will say, I had begun to be more self-aware. This came after I had really tapped into, like, let me look at myself clearly. Let me start looking at who Yanori is really being in the world and not who I think I'm being in the world. And what ended up happening was I noticed that I was engaging in the energy of people pleasing a lot. And at the time, did I write it as people pleasing in my journal? I believe I did. I was engaging in the energy of people pleasing, and that energy used to show up as people calling me at all crazy times, at all times, and I felt like I had to pick up the phone. I had to answer the phone no matter what time people were calling. In part, this developed as a mechanism to handle getting the phone call about my uncle being murdered in Honduras. I started to get really like angsty about calls, so I felt like I had to pick up all the calls and all these different things. And what ended up happening was I realized that wasn't working for me. So what I decided to do instead was to enact a boundary, and it was my 10 p.m. boundary. And this boundary meant that people could call me at any time until 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, I wasn't answering calls anymore for anybody. I didn't care who it was. I don't care what you needed to talk to me about. It has to wait till tomorrow. And this became something that caused a lot of discomfort for me because, number one, people just kept on calling. And I realized that I wanted people to stop calling at that certain time. But that didn't stop people from calling at that time. And I started to get really frustrated with how that was going. I started to get frustrated with the fact that I had shared with people, hey, don't come after this time. And people were still doing it. And what I began to realize was that there was something about the situation that had to change, that had to be focused on me and not other people. This is the number one reason why letting universe take control is non-negotiable for me. Because when you set boundaries in your life, when you decide that you're going to change things in your life, things are going to move differently. People are going to still be attached to the idea of who they thought that you were. So they're still going to show up in the same way. And it's going to be up to you to show up differently. And when we let universe take control, when we let God take control, we are okay with how people are showing up. You see that? We are okay with how people are responding or reacting to our behavior because we know it's not about them. And every person that's in the path of being an intuitive leader that's focused on trusting their inner voice knows that your inner voice is going to share with you, yo, we got to do XYZ, and you got to be ready to do it. And people are not going to always like that. People are not always going to connect with that because they are on their own path. They are doing their own thing. And it's important that we allow space for that. And this is why letting God take control in my life is so important because I can't control other people, y'all. I can't control other people, and neither can you. And when we are aware of that, we can release the attachment to wanting people to show up in a certain way for us when we have made decisions in our lives about how we want to show up, like I did when I set that boundary. Because that was for me. That boundary is for me. It's not for them. It's for me. They engage with me, so it impacts them in a capacity, but it really is for me. I'm the one that desire that space for myself, not for them. So I want to share with you what letting universe take control, what letting God control looks like for me as a thought leader, because it certainly looks different from here come Florida with y'all. Here come Florida with the sounds. Let me see if I can pause this. Okay, I think that they're all gone now. So this is why, where was I? What letting universe take control look like for me as a thought leader in the path to inner peace. Oh yes. Let's talk about that. So letting God take control, letting universe take control over my life looks very different today than it looked like before. And in large part, it looks different because of how I'm showing up to it. Before, I had this resistance to God and universe taking over, whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, whatever name fits you. Okay. To me, it doesn't matter what I call it. It's the source is the same thing. We all come from the same thing. So one of the things that has happened, and one of the ways that it has to look like for me to allow God to surrender to divine, let's say like that, to surrender to divine in my life, has really been about accepting that there are things I cannot control. And this sounds really like obvious, like duh, there's shit you can't control, you know, obviously. And at the same time, it wasn't though. It wasn't. Is it obvious? Is it common sense? Because there was so much of me, y'all, that didn't really feel that. Let me know in the comments, like, do you feel like you've always known that there were things that you couldn't control? Like, do you feel like you have moved with that, knowing like I can't control this? Because for a long time, I wasn't moving like that. And in theory, I knew there were things I couldn't control. And in actuality and in practice, I was very much trying to control those things. So, one of the ways that it has looked like for me to surrender to divine is to be aware and clear about the fact that there are things I cannot control and being okay with that. Being okay that there are things I'm not able to control, that I'm not able to control all these other external things. Because then that allows me to be at peace. Because I can't control all of that. Why am I going to be stressing about things that are outside of my control? Why am I going to be stressing about people that are calling me at 10 o'clock? I can't control when they call. I can only control how I answer. I can only control if I answer. I can only control what I do when they call. And that shift has been huge for me because it has allowed me to not take people's actions personally, which is the second way that letting surrender to divine has helped me experience a life as a thought leader. That's what it has to look like. It has to look like me not taking things personally. It has to look like me allowing my intuition to lead the way. And whatever people show up to that, being okay with that. It has to look like allowing myself, giving myself permission to be in the now without avoiding it. And those are the things that honestly for us as leaders, especially intuitives, those are things that are really gonna get to us. It's gonna be being in the present moment without looking to avoid it. It's gonna be being in the present moment and coexisting with the things we like and the things we want to change. That is what it looks like for us in this moment because it's no longer about the mind at this point. It's no longer about the external things out there at this point. It's about us. We know we can succeed. We know that we are extremely powerful. We know that we are iconic. And yet, oftentimes, we don't feel it. We're not sitting in that energy. And it's because we're focused on things that aren't in alignment. And what has helped me in surrendering to divine is to let those things go, to let go of the things that are not in alignment with me. That's what it has to look like. And I want to share with you how that has made my life better. I feel like I kind of mixed them up just now, but let's be okay with that. It's really, mm, it's really beautiful to consider how something has improved my life that I felt quite a bit of resistance towards. There's so much attachment I've had to wanting to control things that were outside of my control. And in letting God lead, in surrendering to the divine, I've been able to free myself from so much judgment. I've been able to free myself from so much self hatred and negative talk. I've been able to allow myself to experience joy at a deeper level. And let me tell you something. You don't know how challenging it is to be joyful until it's time to be joyful. Until it's time to focus on your inner joy and not let any of the external things take over and convince you that there's something wrong with that. And one of the ways that my life has been 1,000 times better because of this surrender to divine is lightness. Is the lightness that comes from knowing that no matter what happens in my life, everything is unfolded for my highest good and that of humanity. It is the lightness that comes from knowing that I can sit in discomfort. I can sit in uncomfortable situations and I can enjoy them. I can learn from them. They don't have to be a bad thing. And when I sit in that energy that I can learn, where I can grow, when I can really allow my roots to be grounded where I'm being planted, I can see my life so differently. And the things about my life that before would have caused me turmoil, that before would have caused me suffering, that before would have caused me avoidance, are the very things that begin to feel empowering, that begin to be a source of joy, a source of relief, a source of overflow. And this is how my life is really better, because there are going to be moments in my life when I am uncomfortable. Any block that I've ever thought I had really comes down to discomfort. And when I'm able to sit in that discomfort, y'all, and I'm able to like learn from myself, and I'm able to do it joyfully, I'm able to learn and grow and expand, then I can take that energy into others. And I help them grow and lead and expand. And when I'm sitting in that place, that's what fulfillment feels like. That's what fulfillment feels like. And I just feel so fulfilled by it. And I used to think it will have to be a material thing that gives me this: a bigger house, a better view, more money, more clients. I used to think it was all these external things, and it really is being able to surrender that opens the floodgates to all of this. And that's why I'm sharing it with you today, because I want to put you on game, babes. I want the same for you. I want you to feel this. I want everybody to feel this, especially my intuitives, because I know how much you be going through. I know how challenging it could be the more you tap into your empathic abilities. And I'm going to give you a bonus to help you with that. And before I do that, I want to talk to you though. Like, what's up? What's up, babes? Do you want me by your side in 2024 as you allow it to be your most iconic year to date? Because it's going to be your year. Every year is your year. So the question I have for you today is, do you desire to have me by your side as you are living joyfully and peacefully? In the description box below this video, there is a link to an application form for one of my authenticity audits. These authenticity audits are valued at $1,500, guys. You can actually buy one. If you don't want to apply for one, if you want to make sure that you get one, you can purchase one in the description box below for $1,500, because that's what they're valued at. And what these conversations are for, they are for intuitive leaders. Intuitive leaders who are committed to a life prioritizing themselves, prioritizing their well-being, prioritizing their inner joy, prioritizing their inner calm, prioritizing their inner peace. This is for people that desire to have my high-level mentorship. Because when you get on these calls, we are going to take a look. We're going to open up the curtains. We're going to lift the hood. For car reference for someone that doesn't drive, lift the hood. And what we're going to do is, in 45 minutes, we're going to map out the most joyful path to dissolving blockages and stepping into your next level desires in the next 30 to 90 days. This is exactly what's going to serve you as you're stepping into the new year, because I know that you enjoy a fresh start. And we do see the new year in some shape or form as a fresh start. So this is an opportunity for you to look at yourself differently. The things that we're going to focus on, who's going to get the most out of this, are those of you that are intuitive leaders, that are committed to prioritizing yourself, that desire to have my mentorship, and are committed to doing one of the following. Number one, trusting your intuition at a deeper level. You are committed to facing your triggers with calm no matter what. You are committed to nourishing your body with compassion and self-discipline. You are committed to releasing borrowed beliefs that are no longer in alignment with you and do not serve you. And you are committed to building and co-creating loving, healthy relationships with the people in your life and complete strangers. If you are committed to doing one of those 5 things I just shared, This call is going to be for you. This authenticity audit is for you, because we're going to take a look at where are you in those areas of your life, and what is it impacting your ability to show up to it more honestly, more iconically. Is that a word? It's a word now. So I'm going to go through everything that you're going to need to live a more joyful life, to be a more expanded version of yourself, and unlock your next level with inner peace and joy, because this is not for people that want to go there fast. This is for people that want to go there with joy and with inner peace. That's what I focus on. That's what I'm the best in the world at. And if you decide to work with me and you are serious about embodying being the best version of yourself, overflowing with peace in all areas of your life, these authenticity audits are transformational. They are transformational. And 5 of you are going to get one of those calls with me this week. 5 of you are going to get to talk to me this week, and we're going to get really clear on what's it going to take you to the next level. To apply to one of these authenticity audits, you want to click in the description box below, and let's go create some magic in your life. Y'all ready for this bonus? Let me get a sunflower if you want this bonus. Can I just tell y'all how much joy it has been to have you here and do this series with you? Like, every time I see y'all commenting or liking it or connecting with it, post with the video, like, it has been really beautiful to watch. And I'm so grateful that we are co-creating this together. I want to thank you for being here from the bottom of my heart, because, to be honest, this is a co-creation process. It's me and you, and I really appreciate you being here, for real, for real. Like, you the bomb. You iconic. You help this experience be a lot more joyful. Okay, so here's the bonus. The best way to surrender. The best way to surrender to divine, and do it in alignment with the path of inner peace. It's really, and I've alluded to this already, is let go of what you can't control. It sounds a lot easier said than done, y'all. Let me just tell you that right now. That is the key, though, is to let go of what you cannot control. And I'm going to give you three ways to look at it. Okay? First is to let go of wanting to control other people. We are not able to control other people. Other people are outside of our control. We don't control what other people do, what they say. We don't control what they think about us, how they feel about us. We don't control none of that. How they react to us, how they respond to us. We don't control none of that. All we control is how we show up to the way that person shows up. That's it. Number 2, letting go of wanting to control outcomes. How many times have you had an experience in your life where you're like, I really want this outcome. Like, I really want this to happen. It might be like you watching your favorite sports team playing, and you're like, I really want him to get the W. I really want him to win this game. That's so low-key how I've been feeling whenever I watch Golden State, because I love watching them. It may be that you're watching your favorite anime show, and you're like, I really want my character to win. Like, anytime I'm watching Dragon Ball and Goku's fighting, I'm like, I really want Goku to win this match. Sometimes we really want things, and the reality is, like, we don't control those outcomes. We don't control if our sports team wins. We don't control if our favorite anime character wins. Like, we don't control none of these things. And when we are able to see that we don't control outcomes, we can release the pressure of wanting to control those outcomes. And we can release the disappointment that comes when we are not able to control those outcomes. You see what I'm saying? And this is what it means to let go of the shit you can't control. I'm going to give you one last one. It's let go of wanting to avoid being in the present moment. Being in the present moment is a beautiful experience. There is so much joy in the present moment, so much love in the present moment. And often we want to avoid being in the present moment because there are also things we may not like. There are parts of ourselves we haven't accepted. There are parts of ourselves that trigger certain things within us, and we may not be ready to see all of that. I want to encourage you, though, to really be able to release the wanting to avoid the present moment, because there is so much joy here for you. And when you allow yourself to see the present moment, you can change. The only place we can change is in the now. We can't change in the future or in the past. In the now, we can only change, because whatever the past is what the future, the present used to be. And whatever the future is what the present is going to be later. So it always happens in the now. And those are the three ways that we can let go of what we can't control. We can let go of wanting to control other people, let go of wanting to control outcomes, and let go of wanting to avoid being in the present moment. Now, in the next video, Mis Amores, I'm gonna cover the way to free yourself from fear and judgment and start loving your life. This is extremely important for me because this is all I really focus on is releasing things like fear and judgment and allowing myself to enjoy my life. And I know that the more you allow yourself to enjoy your life, the more you're going to experience the things that you desire with a deeper level of ease and flow. And you're going to feel really good about it. And the more you feel good about the things you're co-creating with God, the more you overflow that goodness into others around you. And that is the transformation that I'm here for. So for those of you that are submitting your application to work with me, I am so excited to see you on the other side. My name is Janori Pouncil, y'all. I am the guiding light and mentor to intuitive leaders that are being the most authentic version of themselves, trusting their inner voice, overflowing with inner peace, and enjoying their lives every single step of the way. And I'm here to make sure that you see things clearly. Remember, you are a whole vibe. Go and be iconic. Go and be amazing and let your light shine in the world. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hasta luego, mis amores.